Welcome to the Church Business Administration class here at Southeastern University. This is your instructor, Dr. Larry Asplund, coming to you with your Week 1 announcement. I wanted to stop by this evening just to welcome you to Week 1 and give you, once again, kind of a sense of the course as a whole, as well as what we're going to be doing together in this first week. First of all, getting started, you're in a Brightspace, which is kind of an open source learning management system that I think is very user-friendly. But there are orientation videos and documents, etc., that you can access if you find yourself, tripping over the technology. And we have great tech support in our class as well. So be sure to feel like you kind of know how to navigate through the Brightspace content. And then, of course, the course syllabus and the policies are very important. As is true in every class, the syllabus is really our learning contract with you. So, and I'll be referring to it from time to time. You want to have that in front of you. Check out the instructor information. I also posted a welcome announcement as we just started, as you gained access to the class. So check out that information. Also, there's an SEU online discussion forum, kind of an introduction that just describes processes and protocol, etc. All of that is just in the getting started, kind of the, orientation to the class space. And so it's very important for you to just be able to frame in where you're at in this class and where we're going to go by the end. Also, there is a Meet the Class discussion forum. If you have not had a chance to jump in and introduce yourself, be sure to do so. I find that it's very important in online learning for us to have a growing sense of a learning community, that we're kind of getting acquainted with each other. We are aware of each other's backstory to at least a small degree. And I think we can encourage each other as we learn, even pray for each other. I'm sure that there are members of our class that really would value from our prayers. And then there is the SEU student acknowledgement, which you want to access. It just is a review of policies concerning academic integrity, financial aid, and technical requirements. You want to be able to kind of complete that process first, because it will result then in Week 1's content opening up for you. And then the weekly content opens up, and you will see very nicely laid out for you in a user-friendly fashion the content for each week as we go forward. So we have some great textbooks assigned for this class. Kenneth Gangel is a very well-known, both an author and an editor of all kinds of volumes addressing pastoral leadership. This one on feeding and leading is just a great introduction to the specific issue of administration, church organizations, churches. I love this class because it wasn't that long ago that people graduated from wherever they were attending, especially with ministry in mind, complaining that they never got adequate, an introduction at least, to church administration, only to discover that much, if they ended up in a staff position, that much of what they did was administration. So I think this is great for us to be able to read Gangel together. And then there's a very practical handbook, The Business Management of the Local Church, filled with sample policies, sample forms. It's just all about the organizational aspect of working together on a team, being effective in a local church, and so forth. So it's just a very, it's one of those real important resources that you can take advantage of in the years ahead. Sam Hamby is a great guy. He's a great professor down there in Lakeland. Sam teaches the class live, so if you took this class on campus, he would be your instructor. He's also the one who has provided us with weekly their PowerPoint presentations, but they're presented on an Adobe platform with most every case, frankly, with his audible narration. So kudos to Dr. Samuel Hamby And I know you're going to appreciate all the great resources that he has provided for us personally in this class as well. So there are several learning outcomes that relate to this entire course, and knowing what it is we hope to accomplish, what our goals are, is so important. Learning outcome number 1 is an overall knowledge of the biblical basis for church business administration. So we want to look at, those passages in Scripture that imply, if not come right out and say that there were clear organizational issues that had to be addressed in the community. Outcome number 2, church board operations and responsibilities and committee formation. That may hit you like, wow, we're actually going to be learning about that at the university. Well, yes, you can't really get away from the fact that how authority is structured in a local church is hugely important. So to be able to think about it, somewhat in the abstract, but also in the context of where you are or will be, is very important. Then number 3, budget development, planning, and church finances. And we're always, if you're involved in a staff, and I've been in a variety of pastoral positions, including planting a church way back in the 70s, you have to deal with a budget. If you don't have a budget and a process for developing it and keeping track of it, an accountability mechanism and so forth, it could be disastrous. So it's important for us to take some time to look at that kind of thing. Outcome number 4, the importance and implementation of leadership training, which is a broader leadership issue. And, we will be looking at broad leadership issues in this class. And I'm very passionate personally, as I know many of you are, to this, to developing a leadership training culture really in our local church. It was just kind of a process that's part of our life together. And then outcome number 5, apply principles of church business administration to your specific context. Several of you are already in a staff position. You will have, immediate relevance to some of the things that we're discussing, and we'll also be able to provide great wisdom in our weekly discussions. So week 1 reading, we're going to get into Gangal's text, and we're going to read the introduction in chapter 1. And then we're going to look in Pollock at the introduction, chapters 1 to 4. Remember, it's designed to be very practical in terms of providing you resources. And then Dr. Hemby has provided kind of an introductory lecture for us, some basic considerations. There's a link to that. And once again, it will take you to an Adobe site. It requires a Flash video player on that. Flash is an Adobe product as well. And so if you get a signal, a message like I did, that you need to be able to download a Flash player, then just go ahead and do that, because it will make it a very interactive presentation for you. You get to hear his voice and see his passion for doing it right. The week 1 discussion question is very simple. It's this: if the church is spiritual in orientation, are principles of administration important, and why? And so, administration is not everybody's cup of tea, but it needs to be some folks' cup of tea. As you know, there's a spiritual gift of administration. And so we need to, it's good for us, all of us as leaders, to know what those issues are. But ultimately, if administration is not your gift, identifying someone that does have that as a gift is very important. And then don't hinder them in doing their important organizational work. It's just words of the wise. Have your initial post by the weekend. I've noticed some have jumped in early and already posting in week 1. And then reply to the post of at least 2 other students by next Tuesday evening. And remember that each post is around 200 words. It's not "I agree," or a one-liner. It needs to be, have some thought in it. I will then provide a grade. When I start grading, I will grade your initial post and then your 2 replies for your total grade for that discussion forum. Online learning is obviously a growing phenomenon. Online learning is designed to be not a correspondence course. If you're old enough, you may be familiar with a correspondence course. It's designed to be dynamic. It's designed to be interactive. In our Bright Space learning management system, there is intentionally built in social media kinds of interactions. And it's also possible to give you access to a variety of resources in online learning. So think of it as a very interactive process. You're going to enjoy interacting with each other in your discussion forum. You want to jump in and connect with that regularly. Of course, your email is absolutely essential to check it. I'm connecting with you every day. And so I promise that if you send me an email message, I will respond rapidly. It's also our goal, our commitment really, to grade any assignment that you have within 4 or 5 days after the due date. And so I know it can be frustrating if you are in an online course and you don't seem to be able to connect or communicate well with the instructor, etc. But hopefully we'll have a very good experience. And remember, we are learning together. This is a learning community for you. Some have said that an on-campus professor, which I was for 21 years, is sometimes viewed as a sage on the stage, but an online instructor is a guide on the side. We're co-learners, but we're also guiding you through the process. My commitment is to you that this will be a great learning experience for you. And I'm committed also to your educational success. So don't hesitate to let me know as we go forward if you have any questions or what I can do to serve you. Church administration is very, very important. I know you will appreciate the practical value of everything we're going to be exploring. Together, it will have almost immediate application for many of you. And so I'm looking forward to just diving in and digging into those nitty-gritty issues, asking the Lord to give us wisdom as we go forward together. So God bless you, everybody. Please know that you're in my prayers every day. I'm here for you. Don't hesitate to let me know how I can serve you. Just have a great week 1.